I seem to have noticed, a majority of people, they spend so much consideration of their time and energy and their collective consciousness into devoted towards beefing with somebody else, invoking some sort of drama, having some sort of relationship issues, gossiping, rumoring about someone else, and absolutely being venomous towards somebody else, keeping up with the Joneses, constantly chasing after this concept of materialism and, manifesting this materialism, this constant hunger and starvation towards it. And it's such a sad reality that we live in. We encompass so much of our time and devotion of our entire being, every single day, towards trying to start a beef with somebody. In case if you don't know what that is, I'm sure a lot of you do, but for those of you who do not, basically means someone who incites a riot, like invokes chaos into somebody else's life or into their own life, mainly just starting a fight with somebody else. So, and unfortunately, that's such a sad reality, unfortunate reality, rather, that we live in. And you wonder why that relationships in families, between families and friendships, relationships or otherwise, they are never successful, because we invest so much of our time not accepting each other for our differences and of our imperfections. However, we take so much of a consideration of our time and investment of our time towards selecting and picking out and, well, how to lightly put this, not picking on, dissecting imperfections out of people. And unfortunately, that's the governance of today's modern society. Instead of pointing out our own sins and imperfections, we'd rather take the time to point out somebody else's and put them upon a pedestal and give them enough rope to hang them with, And we're so quick to prosecute and judge someone else, but we never truly manifest to take that time to look at ourselves and a reflection of ourselves in the mirror to judge ourselves. And there's so much misconceptions within relationships and friendships, misconceptions that actually end a lot of relationships and friendships alike, and family relationships. And when I say relationships, it's not just embodying family and ex-fiancés or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, It encompasses in general, for everything and anything. And not only misconception, but miscommunication is one of the most grand things about it. It's more of a culprit than anything else. And unfortunately, I'm not going to name any names, but I know so many people that absolutely cannot work out their differences. They have a household of entire families of kids and relatives living in one house, or whatever, they could just live in one house, they could live in many, or separated across the world, I don't care. The point being is that so many people I see it every day. And there's so many people that fight with each other constantly. Husband and wife constantly arguing and fighting amongst each other, tearing each other's throats out, just shoving her fists so far down their throat trying to point out and dissect once again, their imperfections. And it's not a healthy or good impression. It's not a good influence. It's not a positive influence to be a role model to your children. People that just cuss and fight and sometimes like verbally abuse each other, fight each other, or sometimes physical altercations. And children's minds, like, that's at an age gearing towards adulthood, and they see stuff like that. And it lasts forever in their mind. They're impressionable. They're very much influential, and it engraves into the mind forever. And it's like, people just fight over the most stupid crap out there. Over financial, over, just whatever relationship issues that people have. Whether like people are cheating on each other or stealing, you name it, whatever. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it. I, honest to God, don't care. Domestic violence is domestic violence. Abuse is abuse. And believe it or not, even men can be abused by women. I mean, there's no gender that's greater than the other. I don't believe in this whole feminism, inequality bullshit, I mean, I have a absolute zero intolerance for judgmental people in general. And I have a zero intolerance, especially for not only human species, but of course, those who abuse each other, abuse you of your trust. And because I've been down that road for so much of my life, like, that's primarily the reason why I spend a lot of my time, like 99.9% of my time, away from isolating myself and suspending myself away from human interaction. I try to do that as much as possible, and to engage with human species as little as possible. And they're like the Black Plague to me, okay? The bubonic plague to me. They are infectious to me, okay? So, I've always been a lone wolf. I've always been antisocial. My entire life, since I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. And for the longest time in my life, I was in grade school. I was actually a victim of bullying excessively. So that's what's helped to develop me for what has been done to me has created me ultimately, inevitably. And to have changed that, I would not change it for the world. And I thank God every day that I'm alive and I'm blessed to have the abundance of prosperity, of my success, and blessing of good health, ultimately. And because I invoke it, I invoke protection, I invoke my law of attraction. And it's one thing to talk about what you're doing, another thing entirely to act upon what you say you are doing. Okay, so I'm a person of action. I'm a person of applying principles into the cosmos. And I'm not just someone out there just saying it because I like to say it or hear myself talk. No. So, anyway, I try to avoid people as much as possible. And because of this I live so much more of a healthy lifestyle. I live so much more of a simplistic, peaceful lifestyle. I don't have to collide with anyone else's universe or world. And, it's like, believe it or not, I get severely depressed when I'm around people. I don't have anxiety. I don't have none of that stuff, like a lot of people unfortunately have. And I'm blessed for that. But no, I get severely depressed. I feel alienated. I mean, it's funny because in a lot of people's cases, especially this whole quarantine that's happening right now, People are going absolutely, like, mentally insane, having this experience in this, like, cabin fever of being stuck in quarantine and isolation. I mean, for me, this is nothing new for me. This is like second nature. This is like, you know, it's like, bring it on, you know, this is sanctuary and paradise for me. But no, God, I hate summer. But no, if you have relationship issues, I would definitely recommend to working it out. Get a therapist for it. Do whatever you have to do. Meditate. Change your lifestyle. You know, change the direction and encompass your future and present for something greater than yourself. You know, it's like, that's the reason why I live the life that I do that's so peaceful. It's because I swear to God, like, I always try to do right by people, and it's just like I said, like, ever since I moved to this state, I've always had problems with people. Like, I've lived in Arizona almost all my life, no problems. You know, I could name off, like, all the best friends that I have on my fingers, friends with me for over 15 something years, or 10 years, or 5 years, whatever, you know. But people that share my same vibration of frequency, my energy, you know, people that collectively bond to me through similar interests, or maybe not so similar interests. We have our differences, but we still love and accept each other for who and what we are. And there's just not a lot of people like that. And a lot of people out here, they want to take advantage of you. They want to put words in your mouth. They want to frame you for some stupid shit. And they want to just try to, like, beef with you for, like, no reason, you know. Always. It's constant like that. And they try to manipulate you, especially, you know, for your social status, for whatever you have, like materialism. They always want to plot in secrecy, to conspire against you, to divide and conquer you, you know. Try to dissect you. And once again, point out that imperfection when they don't point out any sins and imperfections, impurities within themselves, you know. I mean, I can acknowledge a lot of my own imperfections, you know. But I mean, I don't try to focus a lot on myself. Well, like, I do, but then again, I don't, in a way. I mean, if that makes sense. Because I don't want to seem like I'm selfish, or I'm in like a D-bag or something, you know. But no, like, work out your differences. And if you got beef with somebody, sit down and have a conversation and talk it out. Communicate, open lines of communication. It's important, you know. Stop this whole beef and nonsense, you know. I mean, if you've done wrong by somebody, correct yourself. Confrontation is what I've been doing personally as of late. And I've been just extreme, brutal honesty. Okay, it's like my ex, well, he's now a friend of mine. Again, at one point we were friends. I'm not gonna say his name on video, but we're good friends now. He, at one point, he actually burned my fishnet shirt over a misconception, miscommunication, misunderstanding, and, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna leave things in the past where it belongs. And especially if you're a woman or a guy, I don't give a shit who you are or what gender you are. Okay, you could be a drag queen, you could be transgender, whatever. I swear to God, you people, just anybody in general, human beings, okay, human beings, you guys just we gotta let our past die, okay? And I've just done a video about that, about people from my past obsessing over me. You know, people that I ended my friendship with, and we separated our ways, and everything was like peaceful, kosher, and they have a way to come up from your past and, like, you know. But anyway, let the past die. Tend to yourself. Keep yourself healthy, you know. Don't be beefing with your neighbors. Don't be constantly getting in anybody else's business, because that's a problem as a humanity. We're constantly in other people's businesses and affairs and current affairs of the world and this and that. Man, just live your life. Try to change the world as much as possible. Be that contribution of positive change and progression and transcendence and awakening in the world. You know, don't be a part of the problem, you know. But anyway, my name is Cody Gremlin. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, favorite, share, and I'll see you all soon.